All right, let me ask you this. When was the last time you took deliberate, focused action to land your next architecture client? I'm not talking about waiting for a referral to come through the door or posting on Instagram and hoping that someone sees it. I'm talking about actively going out there and making it happen. If it's been a while, then this video is for you because I'm going to walk you through a simple and actionable 5-day strategy to land your next architecture client. And by the end, you'll know exactly what you need to do for the next 5 days to say, I just signed another client. And yes, it really is just 5 days. And hey there, my name is Tyler Sumlin. I'm the creator of Growth Detect, a newsletter that shares free sales and marketing strategies with more than 10,000 architecture leaders every single week. And architects read it because it is short, it is actionable, and it is proven. The strategies actually work. And you can join for free via the link in the description below. All right, now that you've joined, let's jump in. Day 5 is by far the most important day, and we'll talk about why in just a minute, but let's cover how to get to day 5. All right, first, on day 1, we need to get organized. And today's goal is simple. We're going to build a list, 50 to 100 relevant people in your network. And these are folks who could either hire you directly or connect you to someone who might. And think of past clients or consultants or contractors or even people from your personal life who are plugged in to your target market. So for example, you can search through your existing network on LinkedIn by filtering for locations that you're interested in. And then you can look through your email contacts or even your phone contacts. You want to think about your ideal project or ideal client. Who do you know that's connected to the market? And then just go ahead and write it all down. I'm talking about names, emails, phone numbers. And by the way, while we're talking about it, emails are actually really easy to find on LinkedIn. You can just go to one of your contacts' profiles and then click that contact info link right at the top, and that will give you their email. And the goal on day 1 is not perfection. It's all about momentum. So you don't want to overthink it, because by the end of the day, you should have a solid list of 50 to 100 people that you can reach out to tomorrow. All right, and now we're on to day 2, and today it's time to make contact. So here's the strategy that you're going to use. You want to send warm emails or make warm calls to the people on that list, but you are not selling anything right now. You're actually just reconnecting, sharing news, and asking if they happen to know anyone that you can help. So your warm emails or your warm calls should do these 3 things. First one is to announce what you're doing. So for example, you could say something like, hey John, our firm is expanding into high-end residential and I'm looking to connect with people in this space. And then step 2, you want to be really specific about your target market. So let them know who you're looking to work with. So for example, you could say something like, we would be a great fit for growing families in the state that want a sustainable home without going over budget. And for step 3, it's just about making a soft ask, okay? Like I said, you're not asking for their business or selling anything. So this is where you say something like, hey, out of curiosity, do you know anyone that might be worth connecting with? And make sure that the question is that last line of your email, because it's the call to action that you want your network to respond to. And the key here for day 2 is that there's not really any pressure because you're not selling anything. You're simply asking your network if they know anyone in their network that could be a good fit for you. So aim to reach out to your full list today on day 2 because you'll have some responses by tomorrow. By now, you should have some referrals coming in. A 10% response rate on a warm email is actually really good, and 3 to 5% would probably be about the average. So if you reached out to around 100 people, you should have somewhere between 5 and 10 referrals in your inbox. So today, what you want to do is follow up on those referrals and set up some meetings. And you have 2 options for each referral. So the first one is that you can ask your contact if they'd be willing to connect you with their referral today. So you could say something like, hey, awesome, thank you so much. Any chance that you could introduce me to them today or share their contact information so that I can reach out? Option 2, of course, is really just to reach out to the referral directly without the warm introduction. And you can do that via a phone call or via an email, but your message should reference the person who referred you, introduce what you do, and make it really easy for them to say yes to a quick call. So here's what you might say. Hey, Amanda, John Smith mentioned that we should connect. I own an architecture firm that's expanding into the residential market, and John mentioned that this might be something that you're thinking about. We've got a few spots to fill up for next quarter, and we're starting to have conversations with great families like yours tomorrow. Does 2 p.m. work for a quick video chat to hear more about what you're looking to do? And this approach works because it's clear, it's concise, and it positions you as someone that is selective with their time, which makes you a lot more appealing. All right, so now here on day 3, there's going to be a lot of back and forth emails and phone calls today, and your job is really just to follow up with every referral and lock in as many meetings as possible for tomorrow. All right, this is the big day here on day 4. It's all about discovery meetings, and the goal here is to build rapport, understand your prospects' priorities, and set clear next steps. So here's the structure that you want to take on every single one of your calls or meetings today. So first, you want to start with rapport. So spend a minute or two at the top of the conversation to break the ice. Just do a bit of research on each person beforehand to get a sense of their likes and dislikes and begin the conversation with a commonality. So for example, you could say something like, hey, I noticed on your company profile that you love dogs. Tell me a little bit more about that. And then second, what you need to do is set the agenda. You want to be clear about what you're going to cover. So you could say something like, over the next 30 minutes, what I want to do is ask you some questions to better understand your goals and priorities so that we can see if there's a fit. Does that sound fair to you? Here's a hint. They're always going to say yes. And that's a great way to make sure that that conversation will always stay on the track. All right, the third thing that you need to do is ask problem-based questions. So you want to dig into their priorities, their challenges, and what they're solving for. Questions like, hey, it sounds like you want to build a new home. What are some of the biggest challenges with your current home? Or how are those issues impacting your family's day-to-day lives? And then again, what would it look like for you if those problems didn't exist anymore? These questions will really open up the conversation. They dive a lot deeper into pains and priorities so that you can get a sense of what they actually need. And then the fourth thing that you need to do, you cannot forget this, is that you need to set clear next steps. If the call goes well and it's someone that you can genuinely help, then propose to schedule a follow-up meeting tomorrow to review the proposal and make sure that you have everything right. So for example, you can say something like, hey Amanda, how about we do this? It sounds like something needs to change because you mentioned that your current home is too small, which is making it really difficult for everyone to live and work together. So we'll go ahead and put together a proposal for your new home based on everything that you told us today. Does tomorrow at 1 p.m. work for us to review it together and make sure that we didn't miss anything? And that's it. You want to do that with all of your referrals today. Make sure that you're hitting those 4 steps. Then tonight, you'll need to write up quick and relevant proposals for each client that you spoke with. So you want to keep those proposals concise, align it with their priorities, and make it clear that you were listening. And then it's time to present proposals and close the deal because like I said at the beginning, day 5 is the most important. It will make or break the previous 4 days. So here's the secret. You want to make that proposal review personal and collaborative. So you'll notice that in the last step yesterday, I didn't say that you would just send over an email with a proposal because that is how you lose projects. That's how you pretty much waste the previous 4 days. There's no urgency or timeline or guiding anyone through the process. And if you're not doing that, they're probably not going to do it either. So you need to make sure that you're walking them through how to take those next steps. So instead, what we did is we scheduled a time to walk your prospect through the proposal, whether that's on Zoom or over the phone or in person. And when you do that, you actually have so much more control and guidance over the process. So when you're reviewing these proposals, you need to focus on 3 things. So 1, show them that you were listening by tying every part of the proposal back to their priorities. So for example, you'd say something like, Amanda, I know that you mentioned that natural light is a top priority for you, and here's how we're going to address it. Then number 2, you want to keep it simple and actionable. So explain how the project will solve their challenges and achieve their goals. So for example, you'd say something like, it sounds like your biggest challenge you have right now is the lack of space. And what we're going to do is we're going to open up the plan on this new home with some creative structural design so that everyone has exactly what they need. And then we're on to number 3, which is to ask for their business. And this should actually be really easy to do as long as you've done the first 2 steps correctly. Because once you've reviewed that proposal, you do not want to leave it open-ended. Instead, you want to make it easy for them to move forward. So you could say something like, it seems like you were really excited about everything that we've covered today, Amanda. To secure your spot for this quarter and begin the site analysis, we actually just need a small retainer of $10,000. What's the easiest way for you to pay that? And notice how every statement assumes the next step of winning their business. Because when you make it clear that you understand their needs and make the next steps easy, then you are far more likely to get that yes. So to land your client in just 5 days, you want to do this. On day 1, you're going to build a list of 50 to 100 contacts. On day 2, you're going to send warm emails or make warm calls to that entire list. On day 3, you're going to follow up on all of the referrals that you got and set meetings. And then on day 4, you're going to have those discovery meetings and write a lot of proposals. Then on day 5, you are going to present proposals and close the deal. This is not theory. This is just how a well-oiled sales and marketing machine should run. It's a proven process that you can start today, and then you can do it anytime that you want. But if you're looking for more details and scripts and step-by-step guides for every part of your sales and marketing process, then I want to invite you to join the studio. That is a private membership for architecture leaders. And inside, there are over 100 growth hacks, live sessions, quick answers, and ongoing support from other leaders to ensure that you always hit your goals. And you can check out the studio by clicking the first link in the description below. All right, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the studio soon.